Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How y'all doing? Glad to have you here talking some Raid Shadow Legends. It strikes me that some of you guys watching a Kael guide right now for 2023, the updated long-awaited Kael guide, might be new-time viewers. If so, introductions are in order. My name is Ash. I upload Raid Shadow Legends content here, trying to send some positive vibes, trying to help you guys out in the game and trying to have some fun while we're at it here. Every single day, we got beginner, intermediate, and advanced content, so I invite you to subscribe if you like this guide. Kael, man, you're in luck. If you chose Kael as your starting champion, he is, in my opinion, still the best out of the 4 starting options. Not to say that the others aren't good in their own right. They all are good, especially Aethel and Helhane. But Kael, I think, is still the most versatile in the early game and probably a champion that you're going to be leaning on more than any other champion in the game for a long time because he's going to have to be a jack of all trades. So in today's guide, going to teach you how to build Kael to get the most out of him and some maybe pitfalls to avoid along the way. So without further ado, let's jump into Kael, the man of the hour himself. So Kael, first of all, you guys aren't going to have it yet, but I do have to say that his skin, by the way, is really, really cool.
You guys aren't gonna have it yet.
What happened? He talked too much.
I don't even have it on my account, but look at him in that Scarlet Masquerade skin. Very, very cool looking champion. Overall, he is a Dark Elf rare champion, as are all the starters. Rare, that is, not all Dark Elf. His skills really quickly, so this is why he's so good. He has a 100% chance when you book him out, and I do recommend you book your Kael, basically meaning using rare skill tomes to get all of these skills to their max level, okay? He has a 100% chance of placing the weak version of Poison on his A1. Now, don't get thrown off because that's the weak version of Poison. Having any poisons at 100% on an A1 is very powerful in this game, especially when it comes to Clan Boss and Dragon, 2 of the main focal areas in the early game of Raid Shadow Legends. On his A2, Acid Rain attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance to inflict a critical hit, fills his champion's turn meter by 25% for each enemy killed. Now, this Acid Rain ability is going to make Kael a beast for campaign farming, to help clear waves in dungeons, and as an arena nuker. On the A3, Disintegrate attacks 4 times at random, has a 50% chance of placing the big version of Poison for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Now, along with all the other starting champions, we have an aura, increase ally HP in all battles by 15%. This is going to be a good aura to use in the early game because you're probably not going to have many other options, right? So for blessings on this champion, you're obviously not going to be concerned with this in the very, very beginning of Raid Shadow Legends.
What? You know he's doing all this on purpose.
Hey, maybe some of you guys will refer back to this video, or maybe you're watching when you already had Kael built for a while, right? So Phantom Touch is going to be the way to go. Has a chance of inflicting bonus damage to one enemy whenever this champion hits enemy targets, excuse me. When hitting multiple targets at once, only one champion will receive that bonus damage. This is going to be really, really handy, especially for Clan Boss, where, again, Kael really shines. So Phantom Touch is going to be the mastery you're going to want to choose, or the blessing, excuse me, you're going to want to choose for Kael. Speaking of masteries, this is the recommended mastery tree that you guys should go with. However, I must state that with any champion Raid Shadow Legends, do yourself a favor. Even if you're just starting the game, just read what these masteries do. In the beginning, they can be a little bit overwhelming, but they're really not that complex, right? So read to see kind of what makes sense for you, your account, your team, and your champions, right? But this is what I prefer, going down the offensive tree, ending up at War Master as our tier 6 option here, and going down the support tree, picking up these accuracy, pinpoint accuracy, charge focus, and then swarm smiter, and then going down and picking up Master Hexer. That's going to extend the duration, or have a chance at extending the duration of all of our poisons that we're landing. So a really good mastery for Kael. And then this sniper ability, it's going to increase the chance of placing those poisons on his 3rd ability, his A3, by 5%. Again, it doesn't sound like much, but taking that from a 50 to a 55% chance at landing those big poisons when booked is going to add up over the long run. So definitely go with Sniper and War Master, and Sniper and Master Hexer, and I would also recommend War Master as well. So those are the masteries that I would advise for Kael. Now let's talk about the gear, guys. I put him in Lifesteal. You know that first set of Lifesteal gear that you get early on in the game? I put that right on Kael, right? So the most important thing with Lifesteal in the early game is
it's all I have left?
Not a chance.
You're not going to have a bunch of options for revivers or really good healers to keep your champions alive. Lifesteal is going to heal by 30% of the damage that this champion is dealing. So if you have him built right, which we're going to talk about right now, you're going to be able to heal him back up as well and get by a lot longer without those revivers or healers on your team, okay? I also have an accuracy set. So Lifesteal is a 4-piece set. Accuracy is a 2-piece set. We have 6 pieces total outside of our accessories. So accuracy is highly, highly valuable. Accuracy and perception as you graduate into the mid-game of Raid Shadow Legends, getting that bonus plus 40 accuracy is going to be just, I can't overstate it enough. Accuracy is so important, especially on Kael. In this game, you need accuracy to land any debuff. Anytime you're doing anything to an enemy, you need accuracy for it, okay? Generally speaking, around 10 to 12 accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you are trying to beat. So with Kael's build here, you can see the total stats. I'll show you all the individual artifacts in just a moment, but the total stats here, most important is crit rate, okay? Critical rate, getting that up to 100%. Doesn't need to be higher. I have 109 here. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit higher, but it's not going to help you if it's a little bit higher. But getting it to 100 is going to be tantamount to, again, extracting all the value from this champion, okay? We need those critical hits. Furthermore, crit damage is nice to have, but really we want to focus on speed, accuracy, and some survivability after we get that crit rate to 100%. So if I had to prioritize the order there, I would definitely say accuracy, crit rate, most important, and then speed and enough HP and defense to keep him alive, even over attack in terms of stat priorities on this champion, okay? So accuracy, very important. You can see, again, I have him here with 200 accuracy, plus the accuracy that I get from these masteries that we already spoke about. So in terms of the artifacts that I have on him, I'm looking for those stats, crit rate, again, accuracy, and speed as substats on the gear that I have selected. So I have crit rate over here, I have crit rate and speed over here, some accuracy as well, crit rate and a little bit of HP, survivability, crit rate on the gauntlets as the main stat. We have some speed there as well. We went defense percentage on the chest. Now, a lot of new players put attack percentage or a flat stat, even worse, as a default on the chest. You definitely want to go with defense or HP percentage. It's going to help keep you alive longer. The damage will be there, and a lot of Kael's damage is still coming from those poisons, which is going to be irrelevant how much attack he has. It's better to keep him alive, right, than it is to have him die and hitting a little bit harder along the way.
There's really no possible compromise.
Speed boots is going to be pretty much a must for all of you guys. If you're just using Kael as a campaign farmer, you have the option for going attack percentage on the chest and the boots. However, most players, when they're starting the game, you're going to want, again, a very versatile kind of a jack of all trades Kael, and because of that, you're going to want to have him in speed and defense or HP on the boots and the chest, respectively, okay? So again, that's how I have him built out. You do want to get your Kael maxed out as your first champion maxed out on your account. It's going to make everybody else a little bit easier. The first one's always the toughest, okay? Keep that in mind as you're grinding to get your very first maxed out champion. Now, Kael right now is fully ascended and he's level 60. That's, again, what you guys want to do as well. That's going to unlock your amulet and your banner. Now, once you unlock that banner, it's important to farm Spider's Den. That way you can eventually pick up an accuracy banner, because accuracy is going to be very helpful on the banner. An additional 78 accuracy is, well, extremely, extremely valuable. We're going to go crit damage on the amulet. We're going to go HP or defense on the ring, generally speaking. Now, if you find that your Kael's always staying alive, he's never dying, then you can think about switching out some of these HP or defense artifacts and amulets and accessories, excuse me. You can switch those out for attack as long, again, as he's staying alive, okay? That's how we have him built out. Kael is a great champion. Let's go ahead and show him off here. And more so than just showing him off, I also want to show some teams around him. But before we get to that, let's just go ahead and start out in the best place to farm in this game in terms of experience with your maximum silver per energy cost. And that is going to be stage 12, or level 12, stage 3. Brimstone Path, stage 3. Shield sell for a little bit more silver, so it's best to go there. You can get a little bit more experience going over stage 6. However, I prefer getting the extra silver as well, and it's not that big of a difference between the experience. If you can't tackle 12-3 Brutal, which is the best place to farm, you can see Brutal difficulty, you can go ahead and farm 12-3 of normal, 12-3 of hard. It shouldn't take you that long to get to 12-3 of normal, and that's where you're going to be doing most of your campaign farming to level up your food. That way you can have more 6-star champions like Kael. So Kael can be a great early game campaign farmer. Champions to look out for, namely Fellhound. He's a void rare champion. He would be a big upgrade because he's going to farm a lot faster than Kael. Champions like Bellower, champions with AoE attacks on every single ability, are going to be an upgrade. On this particular Kael build, we're going to be looking at around 20-25 seconds or so. He has to cycle back to his A3 ability to kill this last wave. And actually, it's going to be a little bit north of 25 seconds here, but there he goes. There we go. Make it 26 seconds. So again, that's not the fastest campaign farmer in the world, but it's enough to get by. Just make sure you're using XP boost in the early game when you're doing the majority of your campaign farming. You're going to get a massive bonus, 100% bonus, so double the XP. So again, look out for XP boosts in tournaments, in events, and in your shop. All right, next up, let's go ahead and show you Kael in the arena, okay? So the thing about Kael in the arena is the same thing about a lot of champions in the arena. You need the right team set up around him. So I'm going to show you my team, and I'm going to give you some substitutions as well, right? So we have our nuker, Kael. He's our damage dealer on this team. He's generally going to be going last or second to last. And when I say going last, I mean that his speed is going to be the lowest. Most importantly, we want 2 champions in front of Kael. We want a speed booster. Apothecary is great. We have him here at level 50, but it's still going to get the job done because you have a lot of speed on him, 235 total speed. That means he's going to go first. He's going to give a speed boost to everybody else and help them kind of catch up to his speed, right? Next up is going to be Duke the Pierced, aka any debuffer. War Maiden is a great option in this role. Stag Knight, Tyrell, champions like that. A champion that has decreased defense, okay? So he has decreased defense on his A2 ability, decreased attack and decreased defense, and you can see here that his speed is 197. That means that he's going to be going second. Kael's speed is going to be 191. So he's going to be going third, and he's going to basically be, or I should say the other champions are going to be setting the table, and Kael comes in and nukes them all down when they have all their debuffs. Now I have a champion called Skullcrown in the lead on this team. You know, she's there because speed auras are really valuable. Another speed aura is Scorgarab. He's an epic champion. Jingle Hunter is another one. Getting a speed aura for a farming team like this, a Great Hall farming team, is going to be really important to keep your eye out for. So again, this team getting the job done. Ultimate Death Knight is really tough to kill here, but eventually we're going to kill him. But you saw in the beginning here how we kind of set up the team, and if you have a team that's like totally stronger than this, right? A bunch of champions who are way better than the champions that I'm showing you right now.
Well, I won't be here.
But you don't have the order correct, meaning that you don't have the debuffer and the speed booster going ahead of your nuker, no matter who that is. You're just going to be leaving so many victories off the table there. Now, it looks like this turn, the enemy team went first. So they were faster than I was, and it looks like they're probably going to win this one, but we will see. Let's see if we can make a comeback. You're going to lose some battles, because the tough thing about the arena, especially in the early game, is you're not going to know necessarily what team is faster. You're not going to know if they're going to go first or if you're going to go first, but as you kind of play a little bit longer, you're going to have access to champions that make it much easier to kind of mitigate what will happen if the enemy team happens to go before you go. So hey, we win some, we lose some. Let me go ahead and show you one more arena team here. Man, Ultimate Death Knight is in every single squad. One thing you can look out for here is you can look at the player power of your opponent by clicking their avatar. So this guy has 597,000 player power. My player power is right over here, 696,000 player power. Now, generally speaking, this is just a rough estimate, but since I have higher player power, odds are I might have better artifacts because that's a component of player power. So if you're not sure if you're going to win the speed race, two things you can look at in the arena, again, are the aura of the enemy team, right? So this guy has a Kael in the lead. He has an HP in all battles aura. I have a speed in all battles aura. That's likely to say that I'm probably going to win the speed race, and indeed I do. So guys, before I let you go, there goes the debuffer. Kael getting the job done, and everybody's almost dead. Battle Khazar's kind of annoying again. You gotta be careful of Force Affinity bosses and other champions in the arena when you're playing Kael, because keep in mind, we're Magic Affinity, and Force Affinity is going to be a weak matchup for us. But we should get the job done here, and what I'm gonna do is go right into, I'll show you a quick run of Dragon and a quick run of Minotaur's Labyrinth, where you're gonna be going to get all of your masteries, right, on Kael. Finally, Battle Khazar is dead, and we walk away with another victory. We go back up in leagues, and now we're gonna be well on our way to farm our Great Hall vis-a-vis the arena. I would strongly suggest starting with accuracy in your Great Hall, because we already talked about how important it is in this game. All right, let me go ahead and show you. I'm gonna cut here and wait till we get to the bosses. I'm gonna show you stage 15 of Minotaur's Labyrinth. I'm just gonna use Scylla the Drakes and Kael and a bunch of, you know, kind of farming food champions that we're gonna pretend we want to actually build out their masteries. So be right back. All right, guys, so here at the Minotaur here, this is again stage 15, and the reason I'm showing you this one is because Kael's gonna be responsible, along with a support champion or two, for basically, you know, soloing or coming close to in lifesteal gear against this particular boss. That way you can have your masteries go to whatever other champions on the team. Now, once one champion like Kael, for example, is full in masteries, meaning he's totally maxed out, we have our War Master on him, then all the other scrolls that you farm in this dungeon are going to go to the other champions, not to the ones that already have them already maxed out. And you can see here, slowly but surely, it should take around 4 minutes with just 2 champions essentially on the team to take down this Minotaur, but he's going to be a-okay, and all those poison damage, you can see it all tick off right there. It's really going to add up. I'll be right back. When he is dead, we'll try out the dragon. All right, guys, 241, not too bad for the final level of that dungeon. Let's go ahead to Dragon's Lair. We have super raids going on right now, so let's go ahead and tackle stage 20 in this really well-balanced team. So I just threw a couple support champions, Achak the Wenderer and Sepulchral Sentinel, basically Force Affinity support champions to help keep the team alive. We have Apothecary again making his second appearance in the video with a defensive aura. Love that aura for dungeons. Then we have Duke the Pierce as well for our debuffer in Dragon's Lair. I'll come back to you when we get to the dragon. All right, guys, here we go against the dragon, and you're gonna see yet again, similar to Clan Boss as well, these poisons, even the weak version of poison, they're really gonna add up in terms of overall damage against the dragon, and it's gonna be Kael who's gonna be doing the heavy lifting with his poison damage. You can see we have the debuffs, decrease attack, decrease defense being the 2 quintessential debuffs in Raid Shadow Legends, and then we can see decrease accuracy, the weak version of the poison as well, and soon to be the strong version of the poison when he fires off a few more of those A3 abilities. That's his A1 again, and again, Dragon is really susceptible to poison damage, so you're glad that you have Kael on your squad, that you choose Kael maybe as your starting champion. Go ahead and open up some mystery shards as well. You can get other great complementary champions to Kael. We already talked about in the campaign, you can get War Maiden basically for free. You can pull an Apothecary, who I've spotlight in today's video as well, right from mystery shards. You have like a 1.5, 1.4% chance of pulling him, but eventually you're going to get some pretty solid rare champions, and you will be well on your Raid Shadow Legends journey. All right, so this one's almost over here. The nice thing about this squad is, well, we're staying alive, right? Nobody's dying, and we don't have a reviver, so it's a good thing that nobody's dying on this team. Again, that lifesteal is really helping out, making sure that Kael is nice and healthy, because he doesn't have a ton of HP or a ton of defense for that matter, even with the defense percentage, because our gear, or defense percentage on the chest that is, because our gear just isn't that good. Our artifacts are not incredible because we haven't been playing the game that long, and odds are you're probably in the same boat. It will be okay. Eventually, you'll start upgrading your gear on the champions that you use the most, and you will be well equipped to make it to the mid game and the end game eventually of Raid Shadow Legends, whether or not you spend money on this game. All right, so guys, here we go. Dragon is almost dead. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful when building your very first Kael. Keep in mind, again, you shouldn't really carbon copy anything from YouTube or from the internet. Go with what makes sense to your team. But again, this is a lot of fundamental tips that will definitely help you out on your Raid Shadow Legends journey. Plenty of more content. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and the channel and the mediocre YouTuber talking to you right now. If so, I invite you again to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.